Welcome back to Letting Go Loudly podcast. Today we're diving into something so many of us struggle with during the holidays. That is stress. And we're talking about 3 simple ways to calm your mind and body so you can actually enjoy the season.
Ooh, that is right. We are breaking it down into 3 tools: deep belly breath work, vagus nerve stimulation, and slowing your roll. Giving yourself permission to just be present in the moment. And that's so important this time of year.
Absolutely. And the best part about these 3, Heather, that we're going to go through right now is that we possess the ability to calm ourselves with our own bodies. So we don't have to go to a class and we don't have to do certain things and go places to get relaxation. We can do this all within our own means and our own time frame. And sometimes nobody knows even what you're doing. You don't even have to, you can be anywhere in a crowded room. And we'll show you these techniques as we go through. And the first one we're going to talk about is deep belly breathing. So this is some breath work that we're going to do. The holidays get overwhelming. We know that there's crowds, there's expectations, there's family dynamics. But one thing that we do control and can control is our breathing. And you may have situations in your life where you know this is true. Maybe you've given birth and you know that if you breathe deeply through your nose and out through your mouth, it can really help work through some unbearable situations. But we're talking today about the ones that are stressful, that cause anxiety, things that are, building within us. And we can take the time to just take it slow.
That is so true, because when you take slow, deep breaths into your belly, you are basically telling your nervous system you are safe and you are calm. And most people breathe shallow, right, into their chest, and that keeps their body in stress mode. But when you allow yourself and you're intentional to breathe deeply, you can calm your body and tell yourself that you're safe and calm wherever you are.
Well, why don't we try one of these?
All right. I'm up for it.
Okay. We're going to try the deep belly breathing, which I'm going to just briefly tell you what it is. It's an inhale for 6. At the top 2, we're going to hold, and then we're going to exhale for 6. So we're inhaling actually for 4, holding for 2, and exhaling for 6. So it's really 12 counts total. And then you do this repeatedly, maybe 10 times around. And it really will make a difference in your attitude and your stress level. Believe me, it really works.
And Leah, before we start, if I can ask,
Sure.
sometimes when I've tried to practice this, should I put my hand on my belly? Is that a good thing to do? Put your hand on your belly?
Your belly. Yep. We're going to put your hand on your belly. And you probably are wondering, like, where do I put this on my belly? If you can place it, your thumb, like on your belly button and the hand below that, to that low part of your belly, that is where we want to pull the air into when we're breathing. So you really want to try to fill up that cavity, that low belly cavity. Okay, so let's try this. We're going to inhale. I'll do the counting.
Okay.
Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to hold at the top for 2, 1, 2. And we're going to exhale slowly for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do it again. Inhale. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Try it again. Inhale for 4 counts. 2 at the top. Exhale for 6. Good. We just did it 3 times around. How do you feel, Heather?
I feel good. And I encourage the listeners, if they didn't do it, pause and go back and listen and do this, because I feel like that's what happens in this busy time of year, and just in life in general, is we get so busy, and then something happens and we get stressed, or we, our body keeps a score of stressful things, right? So if we're going into something a conversation or a family gathering or whatnot, and there's a history of stress there, our body will start to get stressed before we even walk in the door. And I love this because it's something I can do in the car before I walk in. It's something I can do before I have to have a conversation. Like sometimes we might not be able to go to an event and we have to call and tell someone that we're not coming. And we know they are going to be super disappointed. We don't own that, but it's still, and just being able to consciously slow your body down.
Yep.
That has to make a difference.
Oh, yeah, I think so. And I've had kind of a stressful day today before I got here to do our podcast. And when I was doing my breathing just now, my arms kind of tingled, both of my shoulders.
Yeah.
And I could feel like the stress kind of leaving there because I tend to hold a lot of stress in my shoulders and they tense up and it gives me neck back things going on. But I could feel that leaving and it was just like, wow. And we only did 3 repetitions, which if you do 10 of those, imagine
how much better
relaxed,
your body could feel.
If you can try to do 10 rounds of that just breathing in your mind, counting, and then exhaling, and just do as many as you can, you're really going to feel relaxed by the end. And it really takes your focus away of what's going on. You're really internalizing because you're counting and you're breathing and you're feeling this and I think a lot of that is what calms us down is we're taking those few moments to just listen to our body.
No, it's so true because like we talked about, your body keeps a score. Your body can start to physically feel stressed, tensed, going into something where you've had maybe a negative experience. And then when your body starts to go in protection mode, your brain follows. So then you have the negative tapes playing, you have the what ifs, and then your entire body and mind is in this fast, like negative shuffle.
Yeah.
And to intentionally break it, because a lot of times when either of us are working with clients, they're like, how do I stop the negative tapes? It's a combination of shifting your perspective, but also slowing down your body. And I'd really encourage our listeners to listen to this and the other techniques you're going to share, because these are things that you can do. You can literally do this at the kitchen table. You can do this in the car. You can do this afterwards. If you go into something and you are blindsided, you can take a step out and you can do this on the porch. Like, this is a way to physically calm yourself down so that you can talk to yourself in a way that you can hear.
Yep. I agree.
I love
and
this.
It's so easy to just slip into that. I know, like, if you're at a doctor's appointment too, and it's stressful and you're waiting on the doctor and it's taking a long time, just sitting in the office and just kind of relax yourself and just breathe. And just doing that, it makes everything better. It really does. Just taking that time.
And I think that's a question that we can have for our listeners, and just to be honest, where does your breath live most of the day? Is it living in your chest, which is more shallow breathing, or is it living in your belly? And I can say that even though I work on this and coach women, like, typically my breath lives in my chest unless I'm intentional.
Exactly. Yep. And we all do. We all are just breathing to get through with what we're doing. And, you might even find that through the day, your breath picks up a little bit, but are we taking that time to really bring it down to that belly?
Mm-hmm.
We don't. And unless we consciously are making that effort, you're right. We don't always breathe like that. So, but we are capable. So think about that. Maybe slowing down that breath, just even if you're not going to sit and have time to run through 10 reps, just make your breathing a little bit more lumbered. Just breathe nice and slow. And it really does help calm you down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What would shift in your day if you paused for 60 seconds of deep breathing? And I'd like to ask the audience that too. Think about that. What would shift in your day if you just took this time to deeply breathe a couple times during the day? How would you feel after that? And how would you feel, Heather, if you just took that time, paused, and breathed?
I think my mind would be slower. So I would be more intentional about my thoughts. And I think this really plays into, and this could be another episode, is I think it's so important for women that we focus on responding to stress instead of reacting to it. And our natural inclination, like, nobody wants to feel stress. So sometimes we try and convince somebody or say something or do something, not because we don't want to feel what we feel when they say or do what they're doing. We want to minimize the stress we feel. So we go into reaction mode. This allows you to give the other person the space and grace to be and say what they are, who they are, do what they do. But it slows you down to be able to respond to them instead of react. And you learn to live more in your own emotional maturity. And sometimes someone doesn't even need to have a response. Sometimes silence is the best response. But I think this would just calm your body, and calming mind would follow.
And think if we could just do that in the car when
I
people
know,
are
I
racing
know.
in front of us, cutting us off. Instead of getting all upset, just breathe a little and
Yep.
keep moving. Keep that car moving.
So welcome to Letting Go Loudly, the podcast you never knew you needed. We're your hosts, Leah Lanham and Heather Hetchler, two midlife women, two coaches, and two friends who finally got tired of living by the rules we never agreed to. Around here, quiet compliance is officially canceled. We are letting go loudly and taking you with us. Now, back to the show.
Our next tool is one of my favorite. It's vagus nerve stimulation. It's like the body's built-in reset button. If you don't know what the vagus nerve is, it is the nerve that runs on the sides of your, right on the sides of your neck. They go from the ears all the way down, and they intermingle with your central nervous system as they go down through the body. So you can activate that nerve, and it's VAGUS, not VEGAS. It's not like Vegas, but it sounds the same. And we're going to begin by just tapping right on the sides of the neck.
Mm.
And if you tap that area and just begin tapping, like right below the earlobes, just tapping on the neck, you might, we're doing it right now, and you might notice a couple things if you want to try this. First off, what do you notice, Heather? Anything in particular that happens?
I actually feel more relaxed. Like I feel my shoulders softening, and I actually feel like my breathing is slowing down. Even though I'm not focusing on my breathing,
Yeah.
I'm finding that.
When I do this,
Mhm.
like when I'm doing the tapping, you're doing a little rubbing, and that's
Mhm.
good too. They both stimulate. But when I tap both sides of my neck together, I start to salivate. And that is one of the things, that's how you know you're activating that. Your mouth might fill up with spit, actually, and saliva. But that's how you know you're activating that. So one of the other things, when we do stimulate that and how to stimulate that area, is you can do a couple neck stretches, like just kind of turning your neck from side to side, rubbing, kind of like you were, Heather, just rubbing from side to side. Another way to stimulate that is by humming. If you hum, and that's kind of an interesting thing because I do that a lot
I do
during the
too.
day, humming, and just, I'm not even conscious of it really, but I hum when I work a lot of times, like I'm doing things, I'm humming. But that is a way that you're actually calming your body by just doing that humming sensation, and it's activating your vagus nerve on the sides. So yeah, it's really simple to do that. And there's other ones where you actually pull on your earlobes, and you pull on the inside of your ear, just right above the lobe. There's that little, your finger almost fits right in that little area, and you'll feel the cartilage. If you pull down on that cartilage, just give it a couple pulls. You just pull and release, pull and release. That will do it. And you can also take the cartilage, like, where the girls get their ears pierced on that outer rim.
Yes.
You can put your finger kind of in your ear, not in the ear canal, but just inside of your ear there, and just pull out gently and release. Pull out gently and release. And that also activates your vagus nerve. So this one's a little, this is something, the pulling of the ears and everything, that you may not want to do in public. I mean, you're not going to sit there and pull your ears out like a monkey, but
It would get people to leave you alone.
yeah,
So,
that's for sure. That's for sure. But you can always just do one ear at a time and just kind of massage your ear a little bit and just pull on it, pull the cartilage out a little bit, pull it down, and then switch to the other side. And that's not as, noticeable to others. Not that it matters, but you don't want to be sitting at your desk pulling your ears out. I'm sure you'd have somebody coming in and wondering what you're doing.
I
But
love this though, because it's your, you know, kind of your mental health toolbox. So even if you start to train yourself that, like, I really do, maybe you're listening and you're like, yeah, I am somebody who kind of reacts, or, you know, I just dive right in and I oftentimes regret what I say or do. And you know what? There's no shame or blame, especially as we talk here. This is not what we're here for. We're here to teach and empower and to have some fun. But if that is something you struggle with, teaching yourself to get in the habit of doing these techniques you're teaching us, Leah, when you're feeling stressed, or like when your go-to is to react, if you start to do the deep breathing, the vagus nerve, the tools we're sharing, I think that you're naturally going to lessen the need to react, because when you react, what you're really searching for is to shut the other person down or shut the situation down so you don't have to feel the stuff. And if you can calm yourself first, you're doing that for yourself instead of
right,
giving someone else the power over you.
right.
I love this.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Um, Another one way to do the stimulation is through long exhalations. Just exhaling. So we always think about breathe, okay? But when we think about breathing, do you think about the inhale or the exhale? And the exhale is really what is calming you. So if we all want to try it right now, we're going to breathe
Sure.
in. Just take a regular breath, and then I want you to exhale loudly through your mouth. So let's exhale loudly and let it all out. Let all your stress out. So think about, as you breathe in, breathing in good thoughts, good energy, and then when you exhale out your mouth loudly, letting go of stress. Okay, so let's do it again. Breathe in, good thoughts, good energy. Let go of anything that doesn't serve you today. And I think doing that really helps to just, that's an easy one you can do in your car. You just sit back and think about good stuff coming in as you breathe and letting go of all of that negativity.
No,
And it works
it's
every
so
time.
true, because you can't control what comes at you throughout the day. You can't control if someone cuts you off in traffic. You can't control if someone's rude, if someone sends you a text, but you can control your response. And it can start with intentionally taking care of yourself. And if you can reframe that too, that the best thing to do is to take care of you. And that can start with some breath work, taking care of your body, calming yourself so you don't give that other person or situation power. And then think about how you want to respond. Your day is going to feel so much different. That trigger still happened, that pain point still came, but you're training yourself to respond in a different way. I love it.
Absolutely. I like that too. And before we go into this next part, I just want to encourage all of you to let us know how you calm yourselves, or let us know how some of these techniques work for you. Try them out, see what happens, and see if there is a difference in your body. Just really pay close attention as you're doing them and see the before and after, and let us know what you think.
And we'd love to hear.
Yeah, we'd love to hear.
And I love too, because you could, you and I, we probably pick different things.
Yeah.
And so these three things work, and they may work for all of you, but there may be some different things, or you might try all three and you really only like one of them. That's okay. It's finding what works for you.
Yep. And one I kind of forgot about with this is chewing gum.
Oh,
so
yes.
We'll throw that in there too. Chewing gum can stimulate your vagus nerve. And you'll read about, or maybe you know of your children who have been able to chew gum in math class. And there's other reasons for that. I mean, it could be that it's brain stimulation, whatever it is. I think a lot of children, and I mean, even adults, get nervous when they have to do math work. Like the word math just brings up bad memories.
Yes.
Because we were nervous about it. But by chewing gum, if you're really, what's happening is it's not just psychological, it's really physical, and you're really able to calm your central nervous system. That's huge. So they're coming up with this, and that relaxes people to learn. So anyway, let's go on to the next one.
Good.
Okay. This one is slow your roll and be in the moment. So our last tool is that we forget about is just slowing down. And we've talked about ways to slow down with our breathing. The holidays are going to fly by, and it's because we're rushing. We're striving, we're planning, we're doing a lot.
Yeah, and learning just to, like you said, slow your roll. We don't have to keep the pace that someone else sets for us. We don't have to participate in every conflict or argument that someone invites us to. We don't have to respond if someone is hurtful or rude to us. Like, we get to choose who we share our energy with, how we respond. And I think it starts with acknowledging those truths and taking care of ourselves. And whether you're using these techniques in response to conflict or you're just training yourself to do this every day.
Right.
I remember, when I was a younger mom too, I always, I used to beat myself up because I thought, okay, I need to get up early. I need to do my prayers and my journals. And that was the way I would relax. And there was just no way I could get up before the rest of the house. And so
I know
I'd feel
exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
You want to
Yes.
so bad, and there's this big gap of time you could have, but
and
you're
just
exhausted.
And you just never wake up,
Right.
and and then you beat yourself up. And it's
Right.
And I remember one time sitting in a Bible study, and our teacher told us, she's like, Heather, God calls you to give him your first fruits. And it was like, oh my gosh,
Oh.
my first fruits are at 10 o'clock at night when the house is quiet, the kids are sleeping. My husband and I probably just finished having a nice conversation, and he fell asleep on the couch. And even now, as an adult and an empty nester, sometimes now my first fruits are in the morning because I'm in a different season.
Right.
But calming yourself and starting your day with these techniques,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's journaling or practicing the breathing, I'm definitely going to incorporate these into my day, and I'm going to be really intentional over the next week to practice each of them and see how I feel, because I'll probably end up doing one more than the
Right.
other. But deciding you don't have to wait for stress to hit to do this.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can start to train yourself now.
Yes.
And feel free to listen to the episode over and over again too, because sometimes, there's simple techniques that Leah's teaching us, but hearing it over and over again doesn't hurt.
You miss a nugget.
Yes.
Or,
Yes.
Yeah. I find myself having to listen to things a couple times.
Yes. And sometimes I
Yeah.
like just doing the breathing.
like
I'll
that.
probably listen to this a couple times. I like doing the breathing with you.
Right.
There's a sense of connection when you hear
Right.
another woman's voice and you can walk through something with her. I think that's important.
Mm-hmm. And just slowing down. Think about things. Some days I do this in my house. I'm rushing around. I'm trying to get, the word multitasking, they say is not even a thing, right? There's no such thing as multitasking because it's really
It's a lie
not.
we got sold.
Yeah, it is. But, you're running around, you're doing laundry, and you're trying to clean the dishes and you're doing multiple tasks. So we'll call it multitasking.
Yeah.
Is there any way you can, and I've done this to myself, I'll just say, slow down. I just say it to myself, slow down. So what I do is I just walk slower. And I just walk through my, I'm usually doing tours around my house. I have my living room, then I have my kitchen, then I have my dining room. And so I'm really just doing a little bit in each room. And I just stop and walk really slow. And it automatically just puts me in a whole different headset. It really does. I just, okay. And I just walk almost intentionally slow. And
I love
just
that.
like a turtle almost.
Yes.
And it really does slow me down. Okay, what are you doing? Why are you going so fast? You can do this slower. You don't have to hurry. You're not in a race. We're not really trying. We're not on a time clock.
No.
Settle and just slow down.
I love that because, honestly, I think we live in a culture that celebrates busy. Well, what's the first thing we say when we run into somebody? What have you been up to?
Oh, I'm so busy.
And it's almost like we feel
Right?
like we have to have something to say.
We have to say we're busy.
And there's something about rest. Rest is an activity. Rest is something we need to do.
And
it doesn't always mean
age,
a nap, right? It can be the breathing. It can
Absolutely.
be slowing down as we do things. It can be setting a timer to, I'm going to give myself this much time to do something. But this whole notion that we have to be busy, it's so counterproductive to us as women.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I think as we age, our body does need and require more sleep. It's just, you should have 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night, if not more.
Absolutely.
Just for your brain to, to settle down and relax. And, sometimes we're go, 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 and we want to stay up. I can't do it anymore. Honestly, I used to stay up late and I cannot.
No, I can't either.
I try. Last night I was crafting a little bit and my husband's like, I'm going to bed. And I was like, what? you're going to bed before me. I'm never in bed after him. So he went up to bed and I was like, okay, well, I'm not really tired. I guess I could do a little more. And I did, but it was definitely a half hour after he went to bed. And that's unusual for me.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to get up early.
But good that you gave yourself permission. Like there's no right or wrong.
Right.
I'm like, I want to go to bed. I want to go to sleep. And that is good. And I think too, in midlife, I mean, sometimes we have a hard time sleeping. Sometimes we do wake up multiple times. So listening to your body and going to bed early, because we do need sleep. And even though we might go to bed and wake up, and if we're not nourishing our bodies with sleep, we're gonna pay for that.
Yeah.
So
either you're gonna need a nap. If you're a napper, you're gonna need one the next day.
Yep.
Or it just prolongs and maybe you get sick because you're just not letting your body have that downtime. Yeah. And it so needs it.
It does. And I think I'm going to make a note, because I definitely want to do an episode in the coming year about like just the reality of like menopause, sleep, the whole thing. Because when we start talking, or we talk to our friends, like inevitably, if one of us talks about the fact that we can't sleep anymore, it's like, sister, I am with you. And we're all searching for some answers. Yeah. But I do think that breathing and what you shared today is just going to help us calm, and that calmness is going to help our decision making. It's going to help I think even like memory and retention.
Oh yeah.
We've got I always say I have all these tabs open in my brain, and it's hard for me to do everything.
Yeah. And I think sometimes like I'll have conversations, and as your day goes, you're just conversating with people. But when do we process that? When do we sit down and say, oh, like, let me think about that conversation?
Absolutely.
Because we need to do that. We need to kind of decompress and go, oh, let me think about all the things we talked about. Wow, that was a great... We don't do that often. We're so busy going to the next thing and doing that we're not really...
in the moment.
Enjoying or like cherishing and thinking about the conversations that we do have on a daily.
Yeah, or retaining them.
Yeah. Yep. So I think that's
a good
point. Thing to just have a point to sit with yourself, and maybe the breath work is a great time to
do
sit
that
with yourself and think about your day. Yeah,
I love that. Well, we do hope that these tools help you breathe a little bit easier this season and beyond. And until next time, we hope that you will let it go loudly.
So to recap, Heather, our deep belly breathing, our vagus nerve resets, and slowing our roll, these are simple tools that we can start using today. And we remember that letting go loudly means giving yourself permission to be human, to be messy, and to find your calm in the middle of the chaos.
And there you have it. Another great episode of Letting Go Loudly is in the books. I hope that you're walking away feeling heard, encouraged, and more empowered to live out your version of letting go loudly. Remember, life can be hard and beautiful at the same time. Take time to breathe, take care of your body, and take care of your mind. If this episode resonated with you, we would love for you to subscribe, like, share with a friend, and leave a review. It really does help us grow and reach more women. And you can find us on Instagram at Letting Go Loudly, where you can connect with other women who are learning to let go loudly, just like you. We'll see you next time, friend. Continue to let go loudly. Bye.
Now hold it just once. And